vectors that go there. But one other hero that they have to be careful about not picking it too soon, but the Zeus is very much viable here because it's long range,
10
right? You always
seconds
want to be long
remaining.
range. Once you get Aether Lens, if you get really lucky with
5 seconds
a keen
remaining.
optic or eventually a telescope, it's really nice. But also, obviously the Nimbus pick-off potential, the Thunder God's Wrath. But the Static Remnant, that's a real underrated ability against the Dusa, right? Because when you think about it, when is Dusa going to be taking the majority of her
TNC
health damage?
predators TNC predators
Yeah,
turn to
when
pick.
I mean,
When her mana's gone,
yeah,
right?
Fanatics
exactly.
turn to pick.
So you need to burn through that mana first. And static field is based off of your current HP. So you're going to burn through all of that mana first, dealing a crap ton of damage to Medusa with a Zeus. And then once you burn her mana really quickly,
10
that's when you can
seconds
actually start to
remaining.
burst her down. So I think that might be a nice little heads-up play coming through
5
here.
seconds
TNC do
remaining.
eventually end up picking up the Mars. Probably a little surprised, to be honest, that they were able to let it all the way through.
TNC predators turn.
Tidehunter.
So this has been the Mass Ross Tide,
turn to
something
pick.
to fear. Unfortunately, it's going to the Shadow Demon though, so it doesn't make it feel too good at all. And that's a Shadow Demon with a Mars as well. So just the 1-2 combo, banishment sets up for the spear. It's incredibly nice combo.
Not even just that, you've also got like the Shadow Demon Soul Catcher onto these
10
three strength
seconds
heroes so
remaining.
far, combined together with a Avenge Wave of Terror,
5
God's
seconds.
Rebuke,
Fanatics
couple of right
turn
clicks
to
from the
ban.
Dusa, they're going to be taking a crap ton of damage. And
I like that.
well, Fnatic, they're just opting to go for something that's a natural diffusal blade builder, right? Just able to get in onto the Medusa, try and deal with her, zone around a little bit. It's okay. Yeah, I like it against the Mars as well.
Yeah,
10
I mean,
seconds remaining.
they Venge single target. Medusa doesn't really deal with the illusions.
5
Mars,
seconds
you
remaining.
can, depending on how you
Turn to
itemize,
ban.
that God's Rebuke is pretty good. The speed doesn't have this guaranteed stun lock though with the PL, and it's also pretty hard to get the connection anyway with Doppelganger, and Shadow Demon doesn't really deal with the Phantom Lancer illusions as well. So,
Fanatics
you know,
turn to
Fnatic
ban.
are going to have to try and ban out some of the ways to deal with the illusions. Lesh is one of the better ones here, instantly taken care of. But I also want to highlight that TNC, they have two very defensive supports in the Venge and the Shadow Demon. So you're already going to have Medusa sitting so far on the front line. Once she's able
10
to tank
seconds
up, but
remaining.
you're bringing her down. It's going to be so hard against a Venge and a Shadow
5
Demon.
seconds
Fnatic don't
remaining.
have a way to hunt the backline. Storm is such a good band from TNC. Like, they don't have a lot of stuns. But they got a couple. If they can find the connection, then maybe you just die throughout that duration. But you
TNC
have to go for
predators
someone
turn to
who has
ban.
catch potential. Otherwise, the Shadow Demon and the Venge just enables the Medusa even more.
Yep. Puck's a good ban. Honestly, I would consider even picking up something like an Ember Spirit here for TNC. Again, like you mentioned, very little lockdown, very easy to dodge out a lot of what
10
they've got.
seconds
Fire
remaining.
Blast as a bit of a wind-up, Ravage. Once you get a lot of PL
5
illusions as
seconds
well, you can
remaining.
go for
Turn
something
to
a little
pick.
different, like a Maelstrom build, and just chunk down the enemy team.
What are we looking for? It's going to be the hero for Moon. Either how they're able to fare. They do lack ways to be able to take objectives very early on.
Maybe Alina.
Predators turn.
Void Spirit, okay.
Incarnate.
How do I feel about this?
Like, this is such a good Ember game. Now you, like, it already looked really good, and now you pick a Void with an Ember open, which has a great matchup versus the
10
Void Spirit.
seconds
Like, I'd be
remaining.
really surprised if TNC don't pick it up here.
5 seconds
Just trying to think of what else they could be thinking
Yeah,
for. Like,
I'm-
what role do they want this to fill? Like, it could very much still be a Dusa mid, right? And then you run something else, something a little bit more aggressive in the safe lane.
I think you have to go for someone who deals with the PL. Like, you don't have that at the moment, and making, like, maybe the Mars can make enough space, depends on how well KP's lane's gonna be. I mean, it's a PL Ogre with a Mars Shadow Demon, so it's, and they, yeah, I mean, it's just,
You may now
like, you
select
highlighted
your
the
heroes.
reason that there's no stuns, pretty much. You deal with the illusions, and now the matchup versus the Void Spirit, like, you have a lot of magic damage, so that resonant pulse doesn't really offer much protection in the lane. You've got very good catch potential in the searing chains. The root's just so annoying against any mobile heroes, and you have a lot better mobility as well. 3 remnants that can go up to 5 with the Aghanims. Yes, the Void Spirit with the Yule Scepter into the Aether Remnant can be a nice way to find the connection on the Ember, but if you get 1 stun, it doesn't matter because you have a Shadow Demon and a Venge. I love the draft from TNC.
Yeah, it's really good. And on top of all of that, there's also still that combo potential that I mentioned before with these. Well, honestly, any of the heroes that are caught in the range
10
of
seconds remaining.
the Soul Catcher, right? Now you've got an Ember Spirit that's going to be dishing out a lot
5
of
seconds
Maelstrom
remaining.
damage on top of the Sleight of Fist that can quickly be used to burst people down. So I'm going TNC again. I'm liking the synergy as well with the Mars shield. It's got the snakes on it paired together with the Deucer. It's just synergy all around, you know?
They're doing on a whole nother level. Just gameplay, cosmetics, TNC are at the forefront of this series at the moment. With that game 1 victory, they are now 1 map away from knocking Fnatic down into the lower bracket and seeing how they're going to continue on with a draft that looks as good as what it does for TNC. I'm big fans of it, but if Fnatic are going to take this game, what is the window for them to do it?
Maybe they might look to go for a first blood, have Masteros skill up the gush instead of the farming potential. Get Raven to come online before the Deucer starts to become that much of an issue. Do they have much to really rotate in towards mid to get a kill onto Armel? Because I think getting rid of him is vitally important as well. But Phoenix essentially can't do it, and yeah, I think that's why this safe lane for Fnatic is so important. You need to be able to give Raven the freedom to have DJ leave and start to make an impact on that mid lane.
I do. I was a big fan of the PL getting picked up. A little worried that they let through the Ember. I still think, we don't really see the Phantom Lancer a lot. I think maybe we saw it one time
For battle.
throughout the group stages, and actually, yeah, I do remember now. But it's just it's a stage where PL feels like he just needs a lot. It feels like, and even going up late like Medusa, can you pair Diffusal Manta? Even beforehand, you can have a lot of damage with that Diffusal and even a Yasha, but can you show up to the fights early? Because it feels like that hero, if you make a couple of mistakes, your game falls off, and I think that's a big issue about the PL right now.
Yeah, exactly. The game isn't that forgiving right now to these illusion-based heroes that need a decent start. Probably Chaos Knight's the only one that's kind of in the meta right now.
Boone just stands around. We see TNC tried to make an aggressive movement, seeing if they could get their a little nice cheeky first blood, but once again, it's actually going to be the side of Fnatic looking to try and snipe away that bounty, recognizing that they kind of left the the bottom side. So KP's going to eat a little bit of harassment here. I mean, they got the orb and also the ignite. So yeah, KP, nice body blocks from DJ. It's like the slow is about to wear off, and with Tim's coming over, but that is a lot of harassment. So now they won't have the Mars here for at least the start and the bounty. So Fnatic are definitely going to get 2 down bot, and
get all 5.
they're going to get
All 4 rather. Well, that's a good start.
That's what you need. They didn't get first blood, but all 4 still secures them a very, very nice start. And Tim's, though on the Shadow Demon, did get a D-ward though. So I guess a little bit going TNC's way, but yeah, nice start here for Fnatic.
Yeah. KP is going to TP back to lane, perfectly healthy. So with that start, they don't really need to try and go for that first blood. They should be fine with this. TMC's gone for the disruption there, so might have to be a little bit careful about getting just run down by DJ.
Interesting.
Who's out of position.
Yeah, they could be in trouble actually, KP. Taking a little bit of damage. It's actually interesting that DJ went for the orb because he's against the Shadow Demon. So the illusions will get that orb of venom factor. It can be a little annoying. I know you're not always going to have the disruption to utilize here, but I guess giving Tim's a little bit more to be able to play around with in that lane.
Especially early on, right? Like it's 27-second cooldown, so it's always going to be a little bit difficult.
Yeah, you see how he's using though, just straight away with the disruption, God's Rebuke, really just trying to harass as much as possible. I mean, Raven's got the Ring of Regen, 2 tangos, and DJ, Ogre's already a hero who's pretty goddamn beefy, but they're trying to win the game of nutrition to start.
Yep, I don't mind it, and I wonder what Tim's is going to start ferrying out to him. Is it just going to be constant clarities? He's just got the one coming out to him right now, but that's the slight issue that I see with this, is that eventually when you are trying to harass with Shadow Poison, DJ and Raven are going to both have their at least magic stick by then, and you're going to have... You've got a smallish mana pool as the Shadow Demon, right? So you're not going to be able to use the Disruption and the Shadow Poison for a lot of your harass.
So we take a look at the mid lane. Armel 8-1 compared to the 7-2 from Moon, so pretty even at the moment. This is a lane where, you know, we might see some solo kill potential, but it's mainly going to ramp up once these heroes get that level 6 factor. It's just so much potential from being able to make the rotations to the side lanes, and you know, we'll see a lot of emphasis from the supports coming over and helping out with those power runes as well.
I'm a big fan of the chat wheels. Armel did say prepare for a lesson at the very start before they lost all 4 bounty runes, so well, we'll see if he's feeling it. I mean, based off that game 1, you would have to say he is.
Oh yeah. I mean, looking like another pretty good game here for Armel. I mean, they don't have the greatest way to deal with the Ember as the game goes on, so you know, we'll see if he can get off to a good start and get those items. Then it might be difficult to be able to punish him, as there's a little bit of aggression down bottom at the moment, but you know, DJ is doing a very good job positioning wise to really tank a lot of the damage here and just allow Raven to try and find whatever CS he can. You know, he's only got 10 at the moment. You know, as we take a look, actually, it's the Tide Hunter who's on top. Mastros having a very good lane. I mean, you're against the Medusa and Avenge. You know, this is not the strongest lane that TNC have.
No, that's for sure. Like, they just need to be able to get into the mid game. I mean, Febby, he's doing a good job of making sure that he's staying as far away as possible, funneling as much experience into Gabby as he can. Because once Gabby starts to get a few of those earlier items, what's he going to build into a Skadi, I suppose, eventually, to deal with that Phoenix, it's going to be way too tough to deal with. Yeah,
I wonder if they're going to try and think about even just blocking off that small camp. I mean, I guess Febby's still got a sentry. Maybe they've already done that previously and not going to redo it again. But we just see that the Venge, exactly like you said, really trying to not soak up as much experience from the Medusa and, you know, utilize that pull, just drag the wave back as much as possible. Just having the Medusa farming in a spot where she feels relatively safe. And, you know, we saw last game the potential of the Shadow Demon really trying to provide some stacks. We already see Tim's is going for that at the moment here, but there we go, rotation, gonna try and take a fight inside the river here. Febby, unfortunately, is gonna be able to find the rune, but it looks like Jabso is in trouble as with the magic missile is already committed with the dive. They don't get the kill on Armel, unfortunately, but now with the banishment as well, Void Spirit could be in trouble. Resonant Pulse gonna give him some protection. Trying to absorb up through that damage, just simulates back up as well. They are stacking up the poison. It's only level 1 from Tim's there, and he's got some stick charges and Fairy Fire, but Febby, it's done. Off the mark, nice to simulate. Now here, there's a rotation once again from Jabs after the death. He's going to be able to go even in the kills.
6. He's only level 2 though, that's the one thing. Oh, 7 stacks.
Now, is it enough?
Ooh.
No. Close. Very close there. KP might be in trouble if DJ can get in with the ignite, but no, it's like he's fine. So where do we go? We go 1-1 mid lane. They do get again the rune from the Void Spirit. So both Ember and the on the Vengeful Spirit. So both Ember and the Void don't get the refill, but luckily enough, you know, the bounties are up and available. But looks like KP's actually got a bottle. So
I think that's fine with a Mars. You know, you don't have to go for something like the Soul Ring. You can just constantly be patrolling around, making sure that you're getting those bottle refills. I mean, a lot of that attention that Febby drew forward, yes, he ended up dying, but he doesn't really care because, again, Gabby's just having a fine time up here. He's a little bit behind the Tide in experience, but he's still got a skill point, nearly 2, that he's going to have free to use, but he's having an alright go at things.
I'm really excited to see how Mastros is able to play with the Tide this game. This has been a hero I've been very impressed. You know, it's one of his best heroes to say the least. So, you know, with how much he's able to play throughout this second game.
And he's gone for that build where you go into the Vlads instead. So just wanting to beef up his cores as much as possible, as well as himself. You know, it gives you a nice little damage boost, just being able to stay in on the front lines, use the Anchor Smash to heal up. You're not really going to care all that much about the Mystic Snake, now that it doesn't drain the mana.
Nicely done from Jabzo with that haste. well aware that the side of TNC are really going to try and utilize stacks because they got an Ember and a Medusa who are both are very strong at being able to farm these up. And you see the ward as well that Fnatic have by the triangle. So well aware about the ancient stack that's already been created from Tim's, and is also just trying to get a little bit of his own farm as well. But KP down bot could be in trouble with the rotation from Moon's going to be able to help out. Just that extra damage they were missing now finally comes through. And this is a lane that's shoved in as well. Yeah, so this is going to take a lot of damage, and Dire, they've already used their glyph. So let's see if they actually have some reinforcements to come through.
Yeah, he's just a little bit too far away to actually draw the aggro. So, and of course the creep's running into the wave too, but that's a ton of damage that they probably weren't expecting. You know, with the Tims, with this style that TNC have to get a lot of stacks, it does mean that you eventually leave someone like KP on his own, and well, good job by Fnatic to realize that and, you know, make the 3-man rotation, gets them a kill and the tower. So certainly made some small adjustments here that are starting to pay off.
I mean, they've got a 2,000 net worth lead at the moment. This has been such a good start for the Phantom Lancer. He's already got a hood picked up, so, you know, he wanted to try and, you know, pick, at least, you know, really utilize that ring of regen that we saw, trying to build it into something. And there's, you know, going to be a decent amount of magical damage early on. You know, this is how much it's going to enable him to be able to join these fights, so is the big question.
So that is the other luxury, though, that you have with the Ember Spirit as opposed to the Void. Yes, there's been a few bottles being taken from both sides, but Amel always free to just Remnant, TP back to base, come straight through with the bottle totally refilled. Although now we've got 10 seconds or so until the 8-minute bounty. 8-minute power runes. Both of the supports on TNC sticking around that top area. Probably going to try and contest, but Jabs is there. He's not going to give it up without a fight. It's just a question of what are they going to prioritize? Are they going to prioritize getting stacks, as they always seem to do? They're in perfect position to be able to do so. Or is it more of a case of, look, we just need to win this lane harder? I feel like with a bottle just being refilled, you don't really need the power rune. And without the siege creep coming for another 2.5 minutes, you're not really all that concerned about losing your tier 1 mid tower. So I feel like they're probably just going to give up these bounties, these power runes, get the stacks up. You've got the maxed out Flame Guards or the Deucer to take the stacks, and well, let's see if Jabs looks to realize, you know, he's having a bit of a scouting mission going on here. He's trying to find out what's happening. They're going to get only 1 stack.
What's happening down bot, KP? Gonna get found here inside the power rune. But KP still falling incredibly low, and yeah, it looks like do they have the damage to her armor just showing up in the nick of time. That chains gives Mars the space, taunting back underneath the tier 1 tower. So, I mean, did he get the rune? Yeah, Armel also got the rune as well, so an illusion to be able to utilize. But the big thing that we've seen so far is, you know, Fnatic put a lot of emphasis, especially Jabs, of really scouting out the stacks. As Febby with the TP, he's fine. So, you know, we already see though, Gabby, he's trying to clear it. So really nice heads up play from the Medusa. Well aware that, you know, Fnatic have been able to gain the information, well aware that they have these stacks, and just, you know, trying to take it before Fnatic make this infiltration movement, because they've got heroes that can kind of group up pretty early. Well, at least, you know, want to fight, especially with the Void.
I mean, and you've just got a Tide, right? Like, he's very easy to take all those stacks. So, yeah, good prioritization. They might have wanted to get it a little bigger if they could, but
Gabby?
Yeah, I think they're fine. He should be okay. Oh, wait, with the Sunray and the Ravage.
Ravage as well, Febby. Here comes the rotations, but he's taking up a lot of damage. That percent coming through, but they haven't killed him just yet. Gabby keeping his life.
Coming.
Strength Threads paying off here pretty big, and our Jabs with a TPR. KP unfortunately misses the spear. They didn't have the vision, but meanwhile on top of the back, Armel. We're going to try and punish, but he doesn't have the damage to really go through the Tide Hunter at the moment. So they do commit a lot there, though. That's the Ravage used here from Masteros, unfortunately not getting a kill.
There was a lot of TPs committed, though, from TNC, so it's not a total loss if you're a fan of Fnatic. The other thing is, before Raven, you know, made a rotation through towards that mid lane to try and get that kill onto KP. Didn't get it, put himself out of lane for a little bit, but despite that, he's still got a 1,000 net worth lead over the Medusa, so he's doing just fine. Right now, he's gone for the Hood of Defiance. Probably didn't even need to do that to try and survive, but still, can't fault him. He's having a good start, although he's a little bit surrounded by the TNC heroes. He can just head on back, straight to lane, keep it pushed underneath the tower, go back to the jungle, keep the farm up. But great use of the illusion runes actually there by Armel. They just expired on the bottom right side of the map, but he just placed them inside the camps because he knows that that's where Raven's going to be going next.
Yeah, just doing the little things right here. We see constantly from a lot of the top tier teams and players as well in particular as well, just going to try and slow down whatever farm you can. As Jabs has played around with KP at the moment up on the high ground, really posturing pretty aggressively.
Oh, gets the courier. He was trying to get the D-ward off.
And Jabs, I mean, he's on the low ground, but it's not going to matter. Oh, just gets the dive, okay. The extra little bit of stats helping out there, and the wave not going to be enough. And that's Arena now down. Unfortunately, you don't have the level 6 from Jabs. He's pretty close to picking up if he wants to hang around. I mean, he's always got the regen as well with the Trank. So I like this play from Fnatic. You really want to try and put as much pressure on the towers early, knowing that the Medusa can't really show up and have too much involvement, but it looks like they're going to go in. Remnant forward, Armel being the first one on top of the fights here. Meanwhile, Void Spirit, though, is in trouble. Moon's able to get away. He's got some multi-charges as well. He's actually going to go back in to deal with the tower. He will get that one, and now he's on the higher ground. Let's see if they're well aware of this. KP.
Oh, what do they know? Yeah, they
Someone
know.
pings it. Oh no, they got him! The timing as soon as he TPs. No! You hate to see it, Febby. I mean, yes, you get the tower, but just losing a hero like that, it's pretty rough.
It is. And just other little things as well. The God's Rebuke taking out the courier before it was able to make its way to Moon as well. So that's 1,000 gold that he's essentially missing out on as he goes for that first item Ags. Going to be really important as well, making sure that he can get in onto the backlines, get the silence up onto not just one, which you might be able to do with the Shadow Demon with the Orchid for pickoffs, onto either the Shadow Demon or the Venge. He needs to make sure he's catching both. So I think maybe the first time he looks to engage, they might be caught by surprise by it, but from beyond then, Febby and Tims are going to make sure that they are both on the backlines, but split up enough that at least there's going to be one save coming through.
And I like what TNC did. As soon as they lost that tier 1 tower, instantly going into the triangle, just making sure they can get rid of the stack without Fnatic wanting to contest. The tier 1 mid is a very big tower to be able to keep alive your jungle and just really limit the movements that the enemy team can make. I mean, you already see Fnatic trying to do something. They're smoking up with DJ, smoking up with Moon. And unfortunately, it's going to be a bit later, and they're going to see the stacks are gone. They might still drop a ward, but TNC well aware. Look at their sentries at the moment, really just trying to protect the triangle area. Although Tims, nah, that's a tier 2. You don't want to dive under that.
Yeah, he'll be fine. But yeah, I love the itemization coming through here. He's going for the Aetherlands, wanting to make sure that his priority is saving. Yes, you can do stacks. Yes, you can farm them up yourself, but that's not your goal at the end of the day. We're just trying to keep this lave shoved in as much as possible. And you can also see the Ember Spirit. He's halfway, or more than halfway actually, towards his Maelstrom. So once he hits that level 12 mark, picks up the Javelin, completes that Maelstrom, things are going to become a lot easier for them, which is why I really like the fact that Fnatic were attempting that rotation there. PL can try and join them. He was farming in the same neighborhood, so he could have joined prior to that being a big factor, and he's getting close to his Diffusal Blade as well, only about 700 or so gold away too. So I think around the 15-minute mark is when we should see things really start to ramp up.
Yeah, well, let's see if Fnatic want to try and do something beforehand, though. You've got Supernova, you've got Ravage, but do you want to try and take a fight, before the PL Diffuser Blade? That'll be a big timing. They can really, if they want to wait that minute 40, they've got Blink now on Masteros. So if they want to wait till the bounties take an engagement, smoke, find TNC, the lane's in a relatively good spot at the moment with bot pushed in, and we see Masteros is cutting the wave as well. So let's see how Fnatic want to play. This is a lineup that can be a lot more proactive, whereas TNC, again, like they were last game with the Arc Ward, and really just trying to be reactive and protect the Gabby hero as much as possible. And they're going to smoke up.
Speaking of Gabby, as they're starting to make the move in onto him, just have a look at his quick buy. Do you think he's feeling that confident super early on, going for the Rapier third item?
I mean, why not? Just dish it out. Let's
KP's gonna be spotted.
He's in trouble here. Doesn't have any help coming through, so they're gonna call early on with that smoke. They don't have to use any big ultimates as well, so this will give some information though to TNC, but see how much they're able really to be able to utilize that information though.
See, this is the difference from the last game, though, right? You can tell that Fnatic are the ones that are trying to make things happen now, while, they've got their timings. The Deucer hasn't come online yet. The Ember Spirit doesn't have his Maelstrom just yet. But you've got a hero like the Shadow Demon that can just go. He's gone for the Shadow Poison maxed out. So this bottom lane, they're not all that concerned about it. It's actually Fnatic that probably need to rotate back. And if they don't, they're just going to lose out on a lot of experience and gold going the way of TNC.
And look at how TNT are playing at the moment. Like, Armel is so pushed up, not really worried about too many stuns, or then Masteros is going to jump on top of him. He's got Ogre coming through. If they want to chuck up the Ravage, maybe with a follow-up with DJ stun. There's the first one. They might be able to chain lock him down. Do they have the damage on? Yeah, way too aggressive. Is Armel just hanging around for a bit too long, and that is right by the bounties. It looks like they're not set up at the moment to invade. So TNC will get 2 down bot, but it's the cost of the Ember.
Yeah. It's a little costly, but I think it's all just about funneling farm into Gabby right now. He's just hit onto his level 12. He's got his Manta finished up. Korea was waiting right there at the secret shop to be able to deliver it through to him. So I think as soon as Armel is revived, he's 15 seconds away. Very, very close to picking up that Maelstrom. So he could look to see some sort of rotation start to happen.
KP is going to try and TP out. They don't have a stun with that one, but this was a medallion picked up pretty early here from Masteros, so this will give them an opportunity. Radiants already have a far superior way to be able to take Roche, but let's see if they're going to try it. I love this medallion picked up early from Masteros. This is going to be a timing where you've got PL with, he's got the Diffusal, he's got the Hood, so Raven's going to be pretty strong at this stage, and, Medusa's still going to need a little bit more time to come online. So let's see if this extra life is going to be as impactful for that Fnatic are hoping for.
Even with the medallion, it's taken them a little while. I feel like TNC probably know what they're doing here, especially with Febby just going on that smoke ward mission, getting a couple of deep wards down in between the mid tier 1 and 2 towers, as well as above the bot tier 2. But seems like they're confident enough that, look, we don't quite have the amount of farm that we want just yet to be able to take that sort of fight. We're confident with our late game potential, with that Maelstrom now being able to be afforded for Armel, and I think KP has enough for that Void Stone to complete his Yules as well. So even with the 2 lives, they should be feeling pretty confident.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, there we go. First stage is picked up here. Raven's going to be the one to claim it. And at least TNC, they do get that first tower of the game for them, but they are down 4,000 gold. So this has been a much better start to the game here for Fnatic. We do see, though, that this is a couple of items starting to come through. We've got the Maelstrom on Mel, and the Yule Scepter actually picked up here for KP. But again, similarly with Radiant, Void Spirit just got the Aghanim, so this is a lot of extra control against the Ember, who hasn't gone for a defensive item just yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the BKB queued up next, which is totally fine. Who took the Aegis? Was it just on the PL? Yeah. So he's pushing top, although a little bit of trouble here for the Void Spirit unless he uses those things to zip away.
Phoenix down bot actually is in trouble. They dropped the arena with a spear. TP rotation's a little bit too late because you did see mid, although Masteros is going to blink forward. Gabby instantly popping the Stone Gaze. Febby, nice spot back. It's going to give Gabby some space. Let's see if they want to continue forward. Meanwhile, mid, TNC, they were providing some pressure on, I think it was the Void Spirit, which allowed them to kill off the Phoenix without those rotations coming through instantly.
Raven took the top tier 2 though, so he's doing his job. He's creating a ton of space, he's getting a lot of farm for himself, and really not getting the attention that he deserves. Even putting pressure there onto Armel, forcing the Remnants back, and TNC having to play on the back foot, not something that they're totally used to.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
A very good start to them so far, and I mean, Raven is very, very farm. So is the Medusa, but we see that the net worth is a lot more impactful at the moment from the Phantom Lancer. But the issue is that they're still just making stacks and still just giving Gabby the time. I mean, if he's able to get that BKB before Fnatic really start to put the pedal down, then it could be a little bit worrying here.
Lots of good items as well coming out for Gabby. Getting that Grove Bow for the increased attack speed, as well as the range. I mentioned before, the way to beat it is just to outrange. Febby, he's dead. He's like, look, just let me go. I'm fine.
Yeah, he was just, once again, the positioning from the Venge, just being kind of ahead of his core, well aware that the only way they can really get on top of him is through, you know, either the stair by the river or kind of through that mid lane route where their kind of tower is usually does protect if the tier 1's still up. So yeah, very nice positioning once again for the Venge. I mean, that's the second death, but you know, we see all these deaths from Febby has been at least keeping the cause alive.
Yeah, keeping him alive, and I don't think you could see Fnatic were trying to do the invade again onto the ancient camp right before Gabby took it. I don't think they would have been able to finish that off if Febby wasn't just standing nearby with that 3 points in the Vengeance Aura. So really nice from him once more. And well, this is starting to become a little bit scary. Obviously going for the Mithril Hammer for just the farming potential, not all that concerned about just pure living right now.
I've been in trouble here. I mean, it's just DJ and Jabs. They're even going to cut him off as well, Moon and Armel, but they'll drop the Supernova without DJ getting in range for the stun. It's still a lot of damage. It's going to refresh the ability to be able to follow up the Sunray. Can he close the distance? OKP trying to juke through the trees, but DJ's going to run straight into him. And it does get the spear, drops the arena as well, but it's not going to block off that fire blast in the multi, so DJ will claim it. Meanwhile, though, they're going to be careful about the rest of the map as Mastros just instantly drops the ultimate. They're going to burn the mana. Ember's down. They even catch up Febby as well. There we go. Raven starting to show up here with the Phantom Lancer diving underneath. Even Moon's going to come up and take an engagement heroes as well. Gabby gets rid of the Sans. Still got the BKB. They're just trying to deal with the rest of the heroes, not even worry about the Medusa now. With the rest of the team down from TNC, they're going to be careful because Gabby has to pop the Stone Gaze inside the base. Stoned up his Raven, but I mean, he doesn't give an absolute damn. They even force a BKB. Fnatic, incredibly well done. Just, you know, completely disregarding the Medusa, so aware that if you don't deal with the Shadow Demon, if you don't deal with the Venge, then they have this save potential.
And as well, Moon, perfect that game. Obviously, picking up the DD helps with matters, but going in onto the backlines, making sure the Shadow Demon was silenced. No way to stop the constant aggression coming through there from Fnatic. And yeah, this seems like a much more well thought out game plan coming through from them. But, yeah, a couple of times now, Armel being caught out means that Maelstrom not able to be impactful. It just feels like that's the strategy every single time. Finish off this Ember Spirit, and then there's nothing to deal with these PL illusions.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Is this a game where you were hoping maybe Ember would have a little bit more net worth? You know, we're not really seeing Armel be as impactful as what we saw in the last game. Yes, he's making a lot of space for the Medusa, but it is kind of limiting his game so far, and we're seeing him drop in the net worth.
I mean, the thing is with him, he's having to find all of his farm in super risky places. He's probably going to get gone on again, by the way. Really nice Remnant.
Just the nick of time there. They might try and keep this ward and utilize it here from TNC. You know, Ravage is down, KP drops the ultimate. Now Tidehunter stuck inside the arena. Can they protect him though? Remnant, Gabby just going to move forward. PO trying to deal with the backline straight on top of Tim. Swap's going to give him some save potential, but now it just puts Febby in a bit of a tricky spot here. Gabby chucks up the Stone Gaze. Moon's going to go back in once again, but he's turned to Stone, and they might try and go back on him once again. Armor with the chains, but he's got the Eul Scepter out. Raven doing an incredible job of dealing with the rest of the backline. Now without the 3 heroes to be able to protect Gabby. I mean, he drops the BKB. Going to try and deal with the Supernova, but it pops. Jabs. Now they can look to turn, and Gabby's in trouble. They've lost all the mana, all the health is gone, and now Armel as well. Remnant's inside, but the prioritization from Fnatic has been so goddamn on point from one hero to the next, constantly finding the supports, and then KP just doing, I mean, this is a night and day difference from Fnatic right now. We see Raven showing up on the PL, the rest of the team, and I'm just so impressed on their target prioritization through the second game.
So now in true DJ fashion, he's got the Midas. The Pos 5 has the Midas. Yes, it's not an ogre, but yeah, I mean, they're feeling themselves a little bit here. I have to highlight Moon. He is playing fantastic Dota this time around, you know. Even just in that fight, getting the 3-man silences constantly, that early timing on the Ag Scepter really starting to pay dividends, and he's nearly finishing off, is that his BKB that he's got waiting to come to him? No, he's got a Deso actually, so just trying to get that burst damage through before those saves are able to become a factor.
Uh-oh, downbot KP, look at that Sunray just shred through him. 6.75% damage, and Raven just with the control of the Diffusal, and they're thinking about walking up. Mastros with aggressive blink forward, straight on top of Timsy if he wants to drop the Ravage, but looks like it doesn't matter because you've got Raven for the cleanup. The illusions, they don't really have a way to deal with it. Yes, the Ember, but it just seems like it's not enough at the moment. Mastros shoved away. They've got a couple of their own illusions to be able to utilize here from Dire, but Yeah, without some of the heroes, there we go.
Oh, the
Matchos
Ravage!
inside the base. He drops Ravage on top of 2. They're going to try and aim the prediction now. Where's the save coming out? Gabby pops the BKB. He's trying to try and run to disengage, but Moon straight on top of his heels here. Gabby's going to be careful underneath the T4 tower. Fnatic, do you want to dive too far with Soge's out?
Oh, another supernova.
Another supernova as well. Looks like it's just going to zone them away. Allow the rest of Fnatic. No, they want to go back in, actually. You need the buyback. What are you going to do behind the throne? It just doesn't matter. Fnatic giving them no inch at all to be able to play this second game. Inside the base they go. Ember has to buy back here, but the damage just isn't there at the moment. Yes, you pop your ultimates, but the buybacks already forced out here, and Fnatic, they don't want to leave the base.
I mean, they got the Deso. They can start taking these towers. Oh, they're going
They're
in,
gonna
though.
move
They're
forward.
realizing they're
Armel.
pretty weak.
Get silence. Chain's not enough. DJ will end up falling to Gabby. They've only got 3 heroes here from Fnatic, so not going to stick around for too much longer. But they do get that tier 3 tower, and now an 18,000 net worth lead in this second game. Fnatic are playing incredible.
Yeah, great Dota coming in through from them. A little too clumped up by TNC, I have to say. It just feels like they're getting caught by these multi-man Ravages, these multi-man AoE silencers coming from Moon's Void Spirit. And I don't want to call it sloppy because they were so disciplined in game number 1, but maybe just taking their foot a tiny bit off the pedal considering how dominant they were in that first game in the series.
Yeah, I mean, I've been highlighting the positioning from Febby the entire time, how impressed I've been. Just that one, that one fight, grouped up with the Medusa. You don't have that swap save potential, which really would have, potentially, it could have disrupted the fight a lot. But now it's a game where Fnatic have this massive advantage, and yes, the Medusa late game is still a big threat, and let's see if they can get there, though. That's going to be the issue. You're going up against one of the more traditional counters to the Medusa, and you do kind of have your own steroid as well, with the Venge, but so do Radiant with that Ogre Magi Bloodlust. So it's TNC now. They're just kind of going to be stuck inside their base and hoping that Medusa's able to find the farm.
They're just doppelgang into the base.
Oh my god, Tim's just no, don't find me, please.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
panicking.
he's so scared right now. I mean, he's going to show, what can he do? Drops another amulet. Let's see if they can give him the space, but Raven's just on top of him. Febby's got to swap him away with Spear as well. Okay. Well, they keep him. Somehow he stays alive. Febby's just dying to the illusions. Febby actually might die. They double smoke there. Oof. I mean, at least the lanes are kind of shoved in. I mean, mid and bot looks like Moon having to deal with some at the moment. But guess what? Roche is back up. So Fnatic, you're already providing so much pressure on the map without that Aegis, and now they're going to be able to walk back and claim the second, unless Dire are going to try and, make it a little bit difficult, but I don't think so. TNC not in a spot where they can contest.
Not with the Solar Crest, not with the Desolator. It's just going to melt way too fast. And, well, I kind of memed about it a little bit earlier, but might need that Rapier on the Deucer if you're going to be able to turn this one around.
Oh my lord, he's got a Hex. I mean, now you've got a way to deal with the Ember. Now you've got a really good way. We've seen him already die 3 times this game, but now the instant stun in that Hex is just going to make this so much more difficult. And, man, the farm... Phoenix has such a high net worth. I'm actually so surprised. 0, 3, and 10, 85 loss. It's just behind the Ember and actually ahead of KP.
I'm never surprised by Jabs at this point. He has just been so good for so long. This tower's going to melt.
There we go. Mass shots with the wing forward. They need to have the supports really positioned better at the moment here from TNC. Kind of sit them far on the back line. They drop the arena. Mass shots just going to tank that full ultimate. Not really give a damn. And now that's the arena on
Febby's in
cooldown.
trouble.
And there we go. Febby. Illusions doing the work. Moon as well is going to show up with a double resonant pulse. Even the Astral as well. So Moon, he doesn't have the ultimate charges to be able to utilize. Chains is there. Do they have the full control? They've got the spear, and the damage should be as well. So he's down for 70, but look at the space. Full set of racks. And now they can just back off, reset. Yes, you lose your tier 2. Do Radiant even want to? They got Supernova, the Ravage. They might double back here. Yeah, there we go with the Ravage. Finds all 4. They're going to try and aim the Medusa instantly. You got to deal with the supports as well. Tims gets a banishment. The buyback's not there for the bench to be able to show up. But Gabby is forced outside the base here. Supernova is going to be able to find the punishment. Now stunned up down at Mana. They're going to try and look to turn the Stone Gaze. BKB protect as
So
well.
much
Fnatic,
damage,
they're
but
going to
still...
retreat. But can they go back in once the Stone Gaze is worked off? Yes, Raven is going to do just exactly that. They don't have a way to deal with the illusion now. Straight on top of Gabby. Where's it's a defensive factor coming through. Febby off to the side, he's got some swaps, they got the banishment as well, but Armel is also out of mana, so he doesn't have a fight potential in this engagement here. Gabby swapped away, but they got the fire blast, and they don't have a way to deal with Raven. Once again, inside the base they go, underneath the tier 4 tower.
The Shadow Amulet.
He's protected with the Shadow Amulet. Now Raven's got to be careful. He's got the Aegis. Will it even tick out though? Just outside he goes. So Fnatic, I mean, they don't give a damn. They're back in. Hex is there.
Oh,
Raven,
Febby,
he's
what
got
are you
this
doing?
extra life. Febby, he's down for 40. Doesn't have a buyback here.
Oh man, normally when you see the Shadow Amulet on the C server, it's a very different thing, but oh man, they're just playing really well on both sides, to be honest. To be able to survive for this long with the dominance that they've been able to show from Fnatic is credit to TNC, but I just think it's going to be way too much for them to deal with. No BKB, no Stone Gaze for the next 30 seconds, and they just feel so much more coordinated now on Fnatic.
I mean, just a completely different game for them. You know, we saw this is rapier time though. Just picked up here for the Medusa.
Let's go, baby.
You were joking about it earlier, but this is it. Like you have to get the rapier. I'm worried that I feel like Raven just kills the rest of your supports, and let's see if Gabby can 1v5, but Raven, when he's still got the Aegis for a while, they're going to spear back, but it looks like KP's in trouble. Raven's just going to look the turn. He doesn't give a damn about them initiating straight on top of him. Mass Ross will fall. Let's see if they can get rid of the second life, but instantly Moon straight on top of the back line with the silence on top of 3. Gives Raven the space. Gabby, Stone Gaze, forcing them outside. No, the doppelganger doesn't actually go down, but meanwhile on top of the back, Moon got an ultimate, makes it away, but Die, they committed a lot. BKB on Armel, Stone Gaze as well. Gabby's still holding his, but there we go. Dive in, they get the Hesh, gonna try and deal with the support. They're able to get rid of Febby. Now dropping the Supernova as well, just forcing TNC further and further back inside. Gabby's gonna be careful, this Rapier, can they protect it? Armel completely burnt out of his mana, burnt out of his health, and this game's over. Rapier dropped the Fnatic. They hit back hard in this second game. A completely different performance from them.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Spicy. That's what we like to see from Fnatic. Not just rolling over and dying, just quick 2-0. We were convinced by the draft coming through from TNC, the lack of catch, but just in the, first 15 minutes or so, those couple of times where they're able to catch out Armel just farming that little bit too deep. But I mean, that's the trade-off that you have to make when you're playing this Medusa-style gameplay. If you're going Medusa, they need to get everything. So there are so few places for you to find your own farm. You're farming in front of their tier 2 tower before you've even taken a tier 1. You get picked off. It happens. But yeah, Fnatic, I was just so impressed by their increased level of coordination. And Moon in particular, I have to highlight again. He popped off. One of those deaths was just to let them get the racks. Like, you can't count that as a death. That is a win for the team. And of course, Raven finding farm all throughout the map, doing Raven things, and yeah, very impressive. And you know what that means? Game 3, baby.
Game 3 of the El Clasico. Fnatic up against TNC, and well, we're gonna see it go the distance here. And what more do we really want in a series like this? Two of the better Southeast Asian teams going head to head in the upper bracket round 1. We're going to cut to a quick break before we can see who's going to take our first series of the night.